Okay, everybody, welcome to the second installment, episode 2 of the Bench Seat Podcast. That wasn't a very good Boston
We're
accent.
back. We're back here on the bench seat. We're ready to rock.
It's good to see you, Mr. Niang. How are you?
I'm doing good. I know you're happy because you and your Knickerbockers, they beat us last night.
You know, it's funny when losers like me say we, like we had anything to do with,
like
with the win last
You
night.
cheered extra loud with your pom-poms and stuff. But it happens, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You know, we lost, and it's the great thing about the NBA is you got to move on the next night, and we'll have to keep it rolling.
I will say, and we didn't talk about this, but I'll say this now. In like my Knicks, I have a Knicks group chat, right? Like me and my 5 friends that are Knicks fans. And,
Talking about nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we were talking about you. You didn't have the best game. You went 0 for 6. It happens.
Yeah.
But what everyone said, because they're all basketball players, played Division III basketball, most of them. At least one of them did. And, he's like, dude, your job is so impressive because, number one, as we said before, you don't really get the rhythm. You're not given the like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not authority, but you're not given the gift of being able to be in rhythm. You just got to go in cold after you've been sitting on the bench for 20 minutes and get shots up, 3 shots, 4 shots, 5 shots a game and make them. And when they're not falling, you got to brush it off because your team's going to need you to score tomorrow night. So did you have to learn that? Because like when I played, if I missed my first 2 shots, I wasn't going to make a shot.
Oh, you just
game.
mentally, you would mentally just handicap yourself?
I'm a mental, as they
Or not
say,
mentally
short person.
handicap, just like mentally, like
Yes,
block
I'm weak.
yourself up. Yeah.
Yes, I'm weak. And even till to this day, like if in my men's league, if I miss my first 2 shots,
You're like, oh, it's over.
it's over, dude. It's done.
Not all
It's
of us can just make our first 4 shots. But
done. How do you like get over it? Did you have to learn that? Did you,
I think
practice that?
the craziest thing was, I'd first put myself in a mental pretzel and be like, oh my God, like I got to do this, I got to do that. But at the end of the day, like, your responsibility as a role player is to come in and make shots and do it without rhythm. That's why, they pay you money to come in and do that. And when you don't, obviously it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, there's so many games in the NBA that you have to just like flush it. And I remember I had a coach in Utah that I was like, well, he was like, why didn't you shoot this shot? And I was like, well, I didn't feel comfortable. He was like, when you don't shoot a shot that is supposed to be shot, like it looks like you can't play.
Yeah.
So I kind of just went out there and he was like, you essentially have to not give an F, but give an F. And he was like,
F is for fuck, by the way.
yeah. He was just like, essentially, you realistically just it's the next shot. It's a 1-shot life. You make it, guess what? You have to shoot the next one. You miss it, guess what? You have to shoot the next one. So
It's
that's
like you got to take the right shot, and whether it goes in or doesn't,
right. You got to shoot the right shot.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, did last night suck? Especially because it was the Knicks, and everybody's making this a thing. Yeah. So that sucked, but at the end of the day, we got to keep rolling and improving and figuring it out.
I used to love Coach. Jay Wright is like the guy I looked up to as a coach when I was coaching, and he had a saying that was something along the lines of "shoot 'em up and sleep in the streets," which basically was just like, look, they were like kind of one of the first teams to just live and die in a 3-point shot. They're like, look, this is what our offense is. We're shooting it. We care more about the shots we're taking than we do about making it or not. And that's like that I always thought that was a great way to go about the game of basketball. It's just like, dude, get the right shot.
Man, people, those teams back in the day, the smaller teams where they had like Mike Nardi, Alan Ray, dude, they were good. Shout out to Villanova.
Yeah, because you probably played a few games against those guys.
No,
you were 15, 16. So you played against the Natties.
Yeah, but those weren't those guys. I was I never played against them, but they had a good team. So don't try to age me here, buddy. All right, just chill out.
You're talking about like Scotty Reynolds, those like 09 teams.
Yeah,
you were probably younger that you watched.
I remember watching those back in the heyday. But that happened last night. That was fun. But guess what? You got to bounce back. We're looking to roll and kind of find our rhythm. Yeah, moving forward. But
you got a busy week too.
Yeah,
you got the Celtics coming up. Then you have a back-to-back. You're in Atlanta. This is one thing I would like to ask you about is like, how do you manage and how does the NBA player manage a week like this? You're in your 60th game, right? Let's say 60 something, and you're playing. I think you play Sunday, back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're traveling. You come back Friday, you play, and then you're back-to-back Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
So that's 5 games in 7 days, and it's like, and then you practice today. What's that like?
But you know what? We did have some time off when we went over to Paris, so that's where we kind of have to make up for it.
Okay.
So if you're gonna have a good trip, you're gonna have to pack it in on the back 9, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So no, it comes with it. This is my 8th season, so it's a grind. You got to wake up and go get it. And every team is going through the same thing right now, whether it's dealing with injuries, tough schedule, losing streak, winning streak. You're trying to position yourself to get hot at the right time, and that's the playoffs. But speaking of the NBA, we can't, shortchange LeBron James reaching 40K.
Dude.
What do you think about that?
I cannot believe. First off, it's one of those things where you become a victim of the moment, where you're like, oh, it's LeBron James. Like most of us don't even remember basketball without LeBron James.
I know.
And he's been like the perfect face of the league. 40,000 points. I don't see it ever happening again.
No.
And it's like he's averaging 25 points a game in his 21st year. So like he's got more years to play. Like,
it's crazy, and to think that he's averaged over 20 points for however many seasons. Dude. He's been an all-star, he's been all NBA, he's been to the finals. I mean, he has a decorated career, and it doesn't look like it's really slowing down. I mean,
not at all.
It's amazing. And I mean, in true LeBron fashion, like when he broke Kareem's record, it was on like a fadeaway, and this one was on like a swooping,
just
lay in, and it was just like LeBron-esque. It's just like a fitting moment, because then you switch over to Caitlin Clark breaking her record, and it was broken on a free throw. I was like, dang, she couldn't have hit like a step back or something.
I know, but what was cool about that was that it was 3 free throws. So you have all the pressure. So she was
no, someone shot before her.
Yeah, but she made her 3rd free throw, right? So like she got fouled on a 3-point shot.
Oh, okay.
So her 2nd free throw tied it. 3rd free throw beat it.
I thought there was like a technical or something. I don't know.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I just saw the highlights, to be honest.
Yeah. No, but
anyway, in any event, it's anticlimactic. But what it does is it shows like she's got ice in her veins, because she, like, in a pressure situation, first off, in a men's league game, a one-on-one is too much pressure for me. I crumble.
Yeah, you aren't built for that.
I'm not built for it. And she's in front of 40,000 people and a million people at home for the record, and just buries it. Like, that's what I love so much about watching her play, is she's just a fucking killer. She just like,
and there's nothing else like you can say about it, because for someone to score that many points, I don't care, men's, women's, robots, whatever, to someone to just be that dialed in to score and dominate at any level, it's just so impressive.
And when everybody in the gym knows, especially like she's on a good team now. Like that Iowa team's like top 5. She wasn't always. She was I'm not saying she was the only player on the team, but everybody in the gym knows if you can stop Caitlin Clark, you can beat Iowa, and they can't stop her for 4 years.
Yeah, and the crazy part is she had Travis Scott pull up to Iowa City.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, you had Travis Scott pull up to Iowa City. That is impressive in and of itself. Like, you deserve your flowers.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, yes, I'm an Iowa State alum, and you are at Iowa, but I got to give you your flowers. Friggin' 3,600 points is, and counting, and unreal, because Lord knows how many 50 balls you're going to put off in the Big Ten or NCAA tournament. So credit to you. That's amazing. Honestly, the way you broke the record, it was a little
whatever.
But you're a beast. So credit to you. Wow, that was unreal.
Yeah, and speaking of group chats, speaking of Caitlin Clark, there was an argument in my idiot. Okay, just to preface, most dudes my age have a group chat, and everybody is fat and out of shape, including me, and they think that they're still athletes because they played varsity basketball or whatever.
Well, typically everybody that has a comment about that usually is,
and they think they could beat Caitlin Clark.
No chance.
I'm like, are you out of your mind.
Yeah.
She has been scoring 28. Bro, you averaged 8 in varsity basketball.
Yeah.
8 points. And you think you're going to go to a Division I women's basketball team and be able to score? Because if you're going to beat her one-on-one, you're going to have to be able to score 20 points a game. You wouldn't even come close. And so anybody out there who thinks that they can beat Caitlin Clark in a one-on-one basketball game, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Put some respect on her name. She deserves it.
I did want to go really quick, going back to LeBron James. I did see a stat that just speaks to his longevity and how crazy his longevity has been. This isn't talking about how good he is, just how long he's played. In 21 years, because he's played so long, he has played against, like in a game, against 35% of all NBA players of all time.
Wow. Well,
that's a chunk. That is like close to half of all NBA players that have ever played. He's played against them.
It'd be interesting to see a stat, because someone was telling me the other day, with the amount of times that he's gone to the finals and played in the Olympics, and they added up all the games, it's like 3 or 4 more seasons of like legwork. And then you think about it, with playing in the Olympics, playing for the America Games, for Team USA, like how many players that have played in the world has he played against over the course of 21 years? Yeah,
every single
and then you grow up and you're like playing AAU. It's like this guy, what he has done for the NBA is amazing, just simply off his basketball talent. Obviously, being here in Cleveland, you get to see how much he's done and what he's done for the Cavaliers organization.
Does it feel like a small market team here? Because you've played in a small market before, a smaller market in Utah, I guess. Cleveland would be considered a small market, but after LeBron James changed the economy of this place.
Oh yeah, I mean when you'd come in here and you were playing against LeBron James and the Cavs, he had this place people were flying to come here from LA, from Miami to come here to watch LeBron. So credit to him. He deserves every rose that they have for him, because what he's been able to do is phenomenal. One of one.
It's just like it's like when we saw Tom Brady, who's your freaking Tom.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
Freaking Tom Brady. I'm going to go to the corner store. I'm going to grab me some Budweiser. Actually, no, I'm going to drink some Coors Light.
Some Coors.
And I'm going to watch Brady throw
bombs. What's wrong with Bud Light,
I'm going to watch Brady throw bombs. He's going to throw bombs to Randy Moss, Troy Brown, David Patton, Devon Branch. Oh, Edelman. I love Edelman.
Do you have guys that talk like this?
Yeah, I have a buddy, Anthony.
Shout out.
He's from,
Southie.
shout out my buddy from South Boston, Southie Stand Up, and he talks like that. So,
dude, he is one of the best people ever. I've only hung out with him a couple of times, but he's hilarious. What were you just talking about? Because I wanted to ask you something about Tom Brady. I think we take for granted 21 years, what he's still doing. I just want to read you one more stat line, and then we'll move on from LeBron James but he deserves a little time.
Yeah, no, he does. What he did was, it won't ever be touched again.
No.
So we have to definitely celebrate that.
I just want to say, there's been a few players that have played 21 seasons, one of which is Kevin Garnett. There was Dirk. It's Dirk, Vince Carter, Kevin Garnett. I forget the others.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, I'd say Kevin Garnett is probably the best out of all those, or was effective for a really long time. Maybe Dirk too, but Dirk, whatever. Kevin Garnett came out of high school a little bit like LeBron James. In Kevin Garnett's 21st year, this is not knocking him. This is a Hall of Fame career. Champion, NBA champion. But he was 21st year. He averaged 3.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 1.6 assists. 14 minutes a game. That's who he was. LeBron James, again, in his 21st year, 25.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. It's insane to think.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. Speaking of incredible careers, I got to give another shout out, because tomorrow night is bobblehead night for the Kelce brothers, and Jason Kelce just announced his retirement today.
Dude.
A Philly legend. I was only there for 2 years, and obviously I've told you this story, but I sometimes recognize him or couldn't recognize him, or now I'll always recognize him. Because,
Didn't you beat him in a baseball game?
Yeah, Philly sports, we're all connected, right? In Philadelphia, there's Citizens Bank Park, there's Lincoln Financial, and then there's Wells Fargo Arena, all in one area. So we had just gotten done playing a game.
It's probably like May or
June. No. It was playoff baseball. It was
Okay, so
it was like in October.
Yeah.
And we had just finished a game. I rushed over. The Sixers were good enough to, get me into a suite to watch the game. They were playing the Padres. So one of my buddies was a Padres fan. So he's like, yeah, we're in this. I'm already in the suite. And I'm like cruising over from the game. I'm coming up there. And I get in the suite, and it's just me and my buddy. So I'm like, dang, they got this whole thing for me. Well, once you listen to the story, you'll find out. So next thing you know, there's like a group of like 7 people that walk in. Yeah. There's like a woman, a man, and like his parents, and like a couple other people. What an
incredible job describing somebody. A woman.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple, and he comes in, and they all sit in. They sit down, and I'm like, oh, how you guys doing? Da da da. This that. Probably went and grabbed some chicken fingers or whatever. And then I'm thinking like, who is this guy? It must be like, a sponsorship guy that, is here to do it. And,
what you were really thinking is, who dare they let in my suite?
No, I wasn't thinking that at all. But as we go on during the game, like this guy is like standing up, like drinking beer, just looking over, like just watching the game.
Shirt on or shirt off?
Shirt on. So then we get down to like the 6th inning, and, the crowd is going nuts, and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on the field Jason Kelce. And this guy takes 2 beers, smashes them together, and is drinking
stone cold.
Oh my. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a second, that was the guy that's in my suite.
That's the sponsorship
Wait
guy.
a second, that's the Jason Kelce guy everybody has been talking about. That's a legend. Yeah. And then he comes back in the suite, and I was like, dude, I am so sorry that I did not know who you were.
You worked for State Farm?
I apologize, and I owe you an apology. But Jason Kelce, hell of a career. Yeah. You embody everything that is important in athletes and doing things the right way. And I'm sure you're a great family man, not only a great football player, but a great family man. And enjoy your life and enjoy retirement. You did amazing things, and he'll definitely be in Canton in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's the best. I read a set that it was like he was one of, I think, only 6 centers that have ever, I don't remember the stat, won a championship and have like 7 all NFL teams. So he's one of the greatest centers that have ever played. He's also, I met him once too. Really
you're
nice
so
guy.
Cool.
I'm a really cool guy. No, I met him when he was actually drove in his like old like Jeep. It was probably his rookie year. I had a friend that played for the Eagles. He was like the nicest guy I've ever met. Yeah. We went out to have you ever been to Mad River? Remember Mad River in Philly?
Good times.
Yeah, good times. Cobblestone streets. Anyway, really nice guy. Obviously, I don't know him, but it's been cool to watch from afar. Also, the greatest like parade speech of all time.
Yeah.
With the mummer stuff. I mean,
that was funny to pull that off.
It was a wrestling promo.
Is impressive.
Yeah.
He's just honestly he's living his best life and being
like
an adult.
Let's be honest, inspiration for us too. That like their podcast is great, and like if we could be a fraction of what they are, we would be considered a success.
They just do it.
We're just gonna do it. I did want to ask you really quick about the Clippers' new logo. Did you see the new logo?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And then I guess I just kind of want your.
I think it's cool because nobody knew what a Clippers ship was before, and I guess they're kind of transitioning into their new arena. Yeah. New beginnings. I thought that was pretty cool. I think anytime you can be like new and innovative and create like new stuff, it kind of like draws attraction to you, and then you can kind of fall back later and be like, oh, this is our retro jersey. You know what I mean? Because if you keep the same thing the whole time, like
Utah when they do their throwbacks, like purple. Purple and yellow.
But like, look at when Cleveland had the blue and orange, like when they do those retros, or like back when it was Ricky Davis, when it was like UNC blue and black. It's like those things are like what excite fans and bring things back. So I'm not opposed to that.
I loved your all blacks last night.
Yeah,
all black jersey.
We got some tough all blacks.
When do you find out about when you're gonna like what you're gonna wear? Do you just show up and you're like, oh damn, we got the all blacks tonight?
Yeah,
like,
I don't really pay attention. I'm not a fashionista. If you haven't,
but I'm saying, when do you know what jersey you're gonna wear?
When I walk in there and see what jersey we're wearing.
And do you ever like get excited? Or are you like, yeah, we got the all black?
I would hope those days have passed. Just go out there and make something.
Oh, dude, see, I'd be jazzed up. We basically, I also play high level basketball in a men's league, and we have a reversible. It's either red or black. And I get really excited when I find out we're black because it's slimming.
Yeah, it does, because Kevin decides to wear these Lululemon medium shorts.
No, I've been wearing
that are super tight because he feels like it's a good idea. You remember those like old guys that used to run through your neighborhood in those tiny little running shorts?
What kind of neighborhood did you have, dude?
You're like the old dad that thinks it's like cool to wear those like short running shorts and it makes everybody feel uncomfortable.
Let me tell you something.
Don't be that guy.
If there's
That's all
one
I'm saying.
thing I've got going for me, it's the tree trunks. I got good legs, and still, especially the calves. And still, at this age, if I can have something that looks good, I'm gonna show it off. And so, yeah, I show it off. But I have been balling in Eric Manuel shorts since the ones that we used for our photo shoot.
Give you a little street cred.
Yeah, I didn't even know what they were. I thought, yeah, but they're comfortable, and I do hike them up a little bit. I forgot what I was saying. You cut me off again. You're talking about my shorts.
In your men's league.
Anyway, yes.
It's trimming. The color's trimming.
The color's trimming. Yes, I do get excited.
I feel like shit, but the color's trimming.
Yeah. There's one last thing I wanted to ask you about last night, then we're going to move on. We're going to see some videos. There was a quick little incident with Josh Hart at the end. Did he reach for someone's chain?
No, those guys are friends. So people are going to sit here and make this
It looked like he snatched his
They're going to
chain.
sit here and make this a big deal. Josh Hart and Donovan Mitchell are friends, but now Donovan's going to have to start some fake Twitter beef so that people know what time it is, all right?
I can imagine it's like weird because it is a fraternity, the NBA. It seems like you've been teammates with a lot of the guys that you play against, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you build friendships. And then I could imagine it's a little bit like when you play. The only thing I can relate it to is when I play pickup basketball with my friends. I go hard and I talk shit and I get pissed.
No, for sure.
But like when the game's over, it's cool.
I mean, I think after, you still are a little aggravated, but when you see him in the summer, it's all love, especially if you've had a relationship before that.
Yeah. And
Speaking of relationships, there is someone that I can relate to in college basketball.
Should we do this right now?
Yes.
Should we?
He wears
before we do it.
He wears the number. He wears the number 21,
which is one more than you.
He plays at Indiana State.
Some people are saying
he wears these.
Some people are saying he's the Larry Bird of George Niang's.
What's his name?
Robbie Avila. How have we not covered this guy yet?
Oh my God!
Can we just watch this video?
At this.
Look at this.
Yes.
Pump
Jump
fake.
on that pump fake.
Oh,
Ooh.
dish behind. Oh my God, a little side dish.
How can he do that with the
Here comes
glasses?
this. Watch this. Oh, a little finish with the right hand and one gets fouled. Here, tray ball.
Plays
psych.
at his own pace.
Dude, a little euro
And
to
one.
a left-hand
Not to
finish.
mention, Indiana State is number 1 in the Missouri Valley.
Yep, 20. I think they have 4 losses, 23-4, something like that. Buries the three, shooting what, 36% from three-point line?
39. 56 from the field. I got to take these off. I don't know how he does it.
Are these what he wears, or are these dribbling ones?
I think these might be dribbling ones. I don't know.
I don't know
We
why
couldn't
you
get the
wear this.
real ones. So, Robbie, if you could send us some real ones, we'll send you a hoodie.
Mr. Avila, you have 2 of the biggest fans that you will ever have. We love your games. I haven't watched a full game yet. I've only watched highlights, but the highlights get me jacked up. He's 6'10". He's smooth.
Yeah.
Again, people are saying he's the Larry Bird of George Niang's, which means he's like, he could come in and
He's a beast.
Yeah.
He's a beast. I like to give credit where credit's due. I mean, obviously people are going to, say what they want about, his speed or this, that, and the other. But the dude produces. No excuse, just produce. Robbie Avila.
I don't think it's a soft L. I think it's a hard L, yeah.
You're a legend, pal. You got some big fans over here at the Bench Sheet Podcast.
They're going to be a sleeper for me. Are you going to fill out a bracket?
For sure.
Yeah.
The problem is I get all excited, and I think Iowa State, I'm going to fill out them to win, so they better win and not.
So you let emotion dictate your gambling, or I guess not gambling. It's not gambling. It's just competing. I guess.
Yeah. I'm an emotional guy.
Yeah, that's okay. Most people that wear purple shoes are emotional, so I can understand. This is the 4th time in a row now, in case you are counting. George has worn purple shoes, and then keeps calling them not purple.
I'm colorblind.
I don't know if that's true or not. But yes, I'm looking for Indiana State. I'd assume they're going to get an at-large bid, but I don't know. They'd probably have to win their conference tournament. I'm not really up on whether Missouri Valley is going to get an at-large bid, but they're first in the conference, so you would hope that they win that.
NCAA, do the right thing. You know, the world needs to see Robbie out there with those rec specs balling. It's good for the brand. Don't ever forget that.
Moving gears a little bit now back into the NBA, because I did want to ask you about a difficult situation, and that is the Warriors losing by 52 points to the Celtics. And I just wanted to ask you, number one, what's your take on that? Like, how does that happen in the NBA? And two, what's the most lopsided game you've been a part of, whether it's a win or a loss?
Oh, I've been a part of a 60-point loss. I think a 60-point loss when we were in Dallas when I was playing with Utah. And I remember the end of the game, Dante Exum was in there dribbling, and we were holding it out to dribble it. And they were like, man, fuck that dribbling. Go try and score.
Oh, wait, because we were
down 60. Yeah, and it was one of those moments where – but it's like –
58.
And let me tell you this. Like, yes, the Celtics beat the Warriors by 50-something points, but I'll tell you this. There's not one person – on a Western Conference team that's like, we want to see the Warriors first round. I mean, you have Steph Curry, Draymond, those guys on the team. They have championship DNA, and it's one game. You got to get that just goes to show you it's one game. You got to move on.
You don't want to hear that like people quit, but I could assume that like, dude, there's 82 games. You're traveling. You're on the other side of the country. You're probably on a back-to-back, or you have another one coming up. I know they were on like a long East Coast trip. It's like when you're down 30. At some point, you're like, okay, this game's lost. And it's like,
pack it up, keep it moving.
Yeah. I was one time a part of a 101-point differential.
You were on the losing end of that?
My first year coaching in Brooklyn, we got put in the top division our first year.
Is that why you're not coaching anymore?
No. So we lost by 101 points at home. It was 121-19. That year we went 0-17. We didn't win a game. We lost one game by 12. That was our biggest victory. We only lost by 12.
You went
It was bad.
0-17.
3 years later, we were 21-3 and ranked 4th in the city. So
yeah, because you moved down a division.
No, we stayed division. I just developed my players. I'm a guy that develops people.
Don't you love people that toot their own horn?
So yes, I know all about lopsided losses. And the best part about it was afterwards, the coach was like, hey man, I tried to go to his, he pressed me through the fourth quarter. So I'm like,
dude, get a grip.
Yeah,
seriously.
Get a grip.
That's youth sports for you now.
Yeah,
they'll just.
Okay, speaking of youth sports, we do have another clip that has to do with youth sports. I don't know if you've seen it, but we'll play it in a second. A 22-year-old assistant coach is fired for impersonating a 13-year-old basketball player on the team she coaches. So let me explain that. There's a 22-year-old coach who coaches 13-year-olds and impersonated her in a game in which cameras were at.
Dude, so you mean to tell me as a 22-year-old, you got up there in the mirror and were like, which one of my players can I look like so that I could go out there and dominate?
And
look at her, she's playing it off like, yeah, y'all my people. Like
she's like talking shit. She's got a little free throw routine.
This is great. Like, what is going on in your life that you need to go dominate, 13-year-old girls on a basketball court?
The whole coaching staff got fired. Good.
Yeah,
the best is when she spotted the shot. Yeah, dude. I mean, you hear a lot about, and I think it was Jamal Crawford that just put something up about parents in youth sports. I don't know when the last time you've been to an AAU tournament is or been around youth sports. I love youth sports, as your friend knows.
Yeah, you really do.
But being someone who coached 2 years ago, I can attest to the fact that.
Wait, so you mean to tell me you wouldn't dress up as a 16-year-old or 17-year-old to help your team win?
This sounds like a plot to a really good movie that I'd like to write and star in.
You and Adam Sandler.
Where we play as, first off, if I played, I think about this a lot. Like if I went in and played a full 32 minutes in a varsity basketball game.
You'd score 6 points.
I'd score way more than 6 points. I'd score way more than 6 points, but I probably wouldn't score more than 16. And I'd also be a liability on the defensive end. I'd have to guard like a center, and like hope that I can be stronger than the center.
Oh, that is all time. That
Can you believe
someone
that?
got not only did that they thought of doing it, that they got caught.
I can't believe.
You mean to tell me this thought process went through your head and you're risking everything in your life to just win 13-year-old girls basketball game?
That's like 8th grade. That's not.
That's nuts. That is unfathomable. What?
Yeah, I can't believe it. And I'd like to know her stat line because I only saw two highlights.
If you did all that and she
scored
didn't
4
have
points?
50 and only scored 12 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, meeting up with her girls, I almost got a triple-double on my game.
Yeah, I cannot believe that. Okay, we have one more video that I'd like to. Oh, we have a couple actually, but this one I really want to get your take on just because I know you're a musical guy.
Yeah.
You like all different types of genres of music.
Yeah.
You've been known to play a little bit of country.
Yeah.
You've been known to do a little bit of alternative rock, if you would. No?
I guess occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Or
have
like-
a wide variety of
Wide
music,
variety.
but I like those too.
And also hip hop, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's in the everyday life of a basketball player.
So I'd like to play a little bit of a clip for you and just get your reaction. Tell me what you think about these bars here.
Hey yo, look, rest in peace to Barbara Davis. We hit another layer. When she speak to me, it's like she's saying prayers. I feel like Randy Moss when he was on the Raiders. Man, they love the haters. This woman so fine, I give her cash payments. Baby, I'm just so glued to the basics. I wanted more room, so I copped a crib sitting adjacent. In this whole world, I'm Freddie Jason.
Freddie
I'm
Jason.
sitting in the places are great, but never complacent. Yeah, baby, I'm a stoner. Yeah, I took that long walk up the hill that made me alone.
I'm a big fan of the. Okay, I mean, there are a few NBA rappers.
Yeah.
Dame Lillard is known to be
Yeah.
pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
What do you think about KD?
I mean, I feel like this is just KD like shooting the breeze. And see, the crazy part about KD is that everybody wants him to be like this certain, like, oh, you're the best, one of the best players in the world. You need to be X, Y, and Z. When KD just is KD, like he's chilling. Like he shows that he's like a normal dude, but can also bust anyone's ass.
Oh, yeah,
in the NBA, which is like I respect because at some point, like I'm sure he was in his NBA career and was like, I'm gonna try and be that guy that people want. But now he's just like, man, F it. Like I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna do me and live how I want to live. And I got nothing but respect for that because someone said it best with like what happens on Twitter and how people talk about you on Instagram. Like when you sign up for Instagram or Twitter, that should have been a warning sign. But like this is a dangerous place if mentally you can't handle the stuff that's being said. And now he's just himself. I credit him because it's like to put that out there when you're just like messing around.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Like, oh, you guys want to give me grief about going to Golden State? All right, whatever. Oh, you want to give me grief about leaving somewhere else or going from Brooklyn to Phoenix? Like, he doesn't care. He just loves to hoop, and he's a normal dude, and he's like embracing that. So I got respect for him. Yeah, people are gonna be like, oh, you're a loser for rapping, but I just think he's just being him and living his best. Like, so someone that could do that with all the scrutiny that they get, regardless of what he does. Like, regardless of what he does, someone is going to be hating. It's impressive.
You know what it made me think of? It made me think of like, do you remember when 8 Mile came out and everybody was a freestyle rapper? And like, did you ever have a friend that would like every time like you'd be out in a club, they would try to freestyle?
Yeah.
Or they'd try to freestyle in your ear, like in like a loud place. Did you have any friends that did that?
You'd be like, dude, chill.
Like,
or it's like
I can't even hear you, dude.
Or when you get to college and it's like a dude that always like drank too much, and he'd always like be the one like trying to grab you and be like whispering in your ear like, I love you, man.
Oh,
you're
God.
like, all right, man, chill. Like, just chill.
Dude, the dude that always wants to have the heart to heart when it's like 9 o'clock.
The wrong time,
Like,
yeah.
bro, I do like you, but I don't need to have this conversation every time you drink.
While we're
dude.
screaming in a bar. Oh my God. Everybody has that one friend. Like, leave me alone.
The worst is when you turn 30 and the dude is still doing it. You're like, dude, you're 30. Stop screaming in my ear about how much you love me. Like, I love you too.
Yeah. We're bros.
Yeah.
We're broskies.
We're broskies. Yeah, but I think that's cool that he could like get out there and just freaking spit bars. I would never do that because like.
Yeah, you would get laughed at. I mean,
Why?
I mean, you don't really fit the mold of being someone that can spit bars, but hey, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Maybe I could try.
Yeah.
I won't ever rap. But anyway, there's one more video I'd like that actually you brought in. You're a hockey guy.
Yeah.
Yes. You grew up playing the sport.
I did.
I really, really wish we had a picture because I did see a picture of you as a goalie when you were like 8.
I don't know.
If we could somehow get that up.
I don't know if I was a goalie. I was doing something in hockey, and it wasn't fighting. But this guy, Matt
so tell me about this guy, yeah.
Matt Rempe, has played in 7 NHL games and fought in 4 of them. And it just seems like any tough dude on the opposite team is just like, nah, you have to fight me.
Why?
Like,
So like
this is
he gets called out every time?
I think it's because he's like 6'7", and
Oh yeah, he's huge.
he's 21-year-old rookie, and like these are like
Jesus, these are grown ass men.
yeah, that's what I mean, and you have to do this
As a living. First off,
think about it. 4 out of the 7 games that you've played in, you're gonna have to fight, like, and you can't turn him down.
Like
I mean, mind you, he does have a crazy long wingspan.
Yeah.
But to get everybody's like.
Tough guy. You're getting everybody's like bruiser. Like this guy Reeves looked like he's like 35. Like,
Yeah, and
dude,
he's
I couldn't
swinging his
imagine.
arm.
He's like hitting a kid. I couldn't imagine.
And he has a black and blue eyes. You know,
Dude.
he better be eating for free in every New York restaurant for the amount of times he's had to fight because.
I can't believe that they still like allow this to happen.
Oh,
in
it's
hockey.
part of the game.
I know it's part of the game, but it was also like every game has changed though. You know, it's just surprising. Not that I feel one way about it or the other. Like I don't watch much. I watch hockey in the playoffs, but I'm so surprised that they've never like changed this rule. Like they're still allowed to just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, I think hockey has a lot of traditions that aren't ever going to be broken and like respects, and that's kind of one that, hey, if you're going to play in this league, you're going to have to pay your dues, and fighting them is one. And Matt Rempe,
Dude, I would never.
My goodness, you. I'm praying for you, brother. Keep on staying strong.
Hopefully, he has all his
We could
teeth.
use you. You know, if you want to play basketball, you don't ever have to fight in that one. Promise you.
I do want to get your take on something that has nothing to do with sports, and just see if you even have a take on it. Dune 2.
Who?
Dune 2. It's a movie. Smashing box office success. $81 million in the theaters. Do you give a shit at all?
People still go to the movie theaters? Like, I thought that was like a thing of the past. I really wanted to see the Bob Marley. This is how crazy the world has turned into. People are like, the Bob Marley movie's coming out. I'm like, oh, sweet. And when does it come out? They're like, this date. And what did I do? I went right on to Netflix, and I'm like, man, I don't see the Bob Marley movie.
Oh, because you like forget that there's even a theater.
Yeah.
I actually love.
I mean, I grew up on it. Like, my mom finally let me go to the movie theaters when I was like in the 9th grade. You know,
Wait, you
back when people were done going to the movie theaters. Like,
you couldn't go to movie theaters as a kid?
no, my mom would be like, yeah, George, you know, I'm gonna come with you and because my mom was like big on.
Okay,
like,
I'm saying though,
parental
like you went to
supervision.
a movie theater before the 9th grade just with your mom.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you were saying you
meant,
weren't
like,
allowed to
no,
go.
like hanging out. Like, what do you think I was raising?
That's when you
Crazy
said it. I
enough?
was surprised. I was like, oh, but you're saying 9th grade she like dropped you off and let you go.
Yeah,
to
I
the movie
was like,
theater.
let me spread my wings, you know, and do one of these.
Was your first was your first like romantic experience in a movie theater?
Maybe.
And what was his name? It's just a joke. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. You can do that.
That is crazy talk.
My first romantic experience was in the movie Pearl Harbor. Do you remember that movie when it came out?
Honestly, I feel like I don't even want to know about the movie and or your romantic experience.
Well, you should know about the movie. It's 2001. The early 2000s movie culture, it's where we all went every Friday.
No, that's true.
You know? And so, like, I still like going to the movie theater with my wife. I don't try to put moves on my wife in the movie theater because she would probably just kick me in the nut. I'll just...
Could you imagine that? Date night. How long have you been married for?
5 years.
Yeah, she's probably calling her friends like, Suzanne, can you believe Kevin brought me to the movies,
This
and he tried to
asshole.
like make out with me in the movie.
She'd be like, "Get the fuck out of my face." No, but I'm a big movie guy because I'm like the snacks, popcorn, like buttered popcorn at the movie theater is you can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, and the crazy part is some movie theaters actually let you do the butter yourself.
Oh, where you like?
Yeah.
Now, do you? Because like, there's ways. I know places that let you. They'll be like, "Do you want to like fill it up when it's halfway?" So like, they'll give you half a bag, let
Fill
you
it up,
butter
yeah.
it, then they'll give you the rest, and you butter it again.
Honestly, you're sounding like a fat kid right now. You need to chill.
Dude.
You really need to chill. Next thing he's going to say he likes Snow Caps, Almond Joy.
Snow Cat.
Reese's Pieces were my favorite, though.
The way to do it is Reese's. You get Reese's and popcorn. You pop a couple.
I know, but then your hands get all chocolatey while you're,
Yeah.
and then you're in the dark. Next thing you know, you got an itchy eye. You have Reese's. in the corner.
Has this happened to you before?
No, it hasn't. But I just played it in my head because I want to have these scenarios played out. But I don't go to the movie theaters anymore. And they don't have salad at the movie theater, so I can't go.
And that's all you eat is salad. And I can attest to it. Hanging out with you, you've had lettuce wraps.
Yep.
Steak lettuce wraps. I just had Chipotle, which is Whole Foods.
Fire.
I would like to ask you on air one last thing.
What is that?
Can you get me on a diet that can turn me into an NBA player? Because I am dire need of losing 20 pounds.
You're going to have to get in contact with someone else, but I can find you someone.
Okay.
Maybe you can play a little pickleball.
I would. You know what? Thank you for bringing that up because I almost forgot. I do want to give you these pickleball paddles that I got. Now, these are not for spanking. This is for the game of pickleball. Have you ever played pickleball before?
Yeah.
You played?
When I was out in Utah, there was a bunch of COVID. I played with one of my buddies that had a family out there, and it gets real intense. You look like a guy that would be stepping in the kitchen often. For all you pickleballers out there, you know what the kitchen is. Gotta let it bounce in the kitchen.
I want to tell you a story. I played, and the reason why I got these, I played in a charity event for Project Purple. If you don't know Project Purple, they're like the leading pancreatic cancer charity, like especially on the East Coast. They're huge. They've raised millions of dollars, all about early detection. Pancreatic cancer is like the worst cancer. Yeah. It's a difficult one. And they invited me to a pickleball tournament. I've never played the sport of pickleball. I played against some very experienced
pickleballers.
Yeah, and two of them were like, I don't want to call them middle-aged ladies, but they were like in their 50s.
And they're ranked in the world, right?
No, they were state legislators. They were like politicians, and they were so good.
You were like, there are laws that need to be passed. Why are you so good at pickleball?
And like they were smack. I'm like, you can't hit it right at me, can you? And they're like, yes. I'm like, that hurts. But afterwards, I have to tell you, they both, my teammate and the team we played, were like, and we played like 5 games. They're like, for someone that has never played the sport, you are very good. You got a future. Obviously, when I'm done playing basketball, I'm going to get into pickleball. Maybe you and I could go on the amateur circuit and start a team.
Honestly, I think this is like the best. So like everybody will give us mad respect because they know that, we're with the Cavs. The Cavs sponsored our pickleball team. That almost reminds me of my rookie year when I was in Indiana. My vet, Al Jefferson. Everybody knows Big Al Jefferson. And I'd always come in with like my Pacers gear because I was like,
it's like, yeah,
and
boy.
then Al Jefferson was like, hey, young fella. And I was like, yeah. He was like, you don't need to be wearing that Pacers gear every day. Everybody knows you play for the fucking Pacers.
Did you get embarrassed?
Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. But it made me. You think of so many times where you'd wear that stuff to be cool. Like in college, you'd get like invited to like your first party, and like one of my teammates was like, "Yo, we should wear our new like tracksuit so girls know we on the team."
Yeah, of course. Well, you're like kings at college. I think about that. Like I see someone at the gym in a Bears, like Chicago Bears football, and they're like pretty big. I immediately think. You're on the Bears, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Like, did you play? They're like, no, I'm just an avid fan. Like, I feel like I'm connected because, like, in fantasy, I won with the Bears defense.
Yeah. Exactly. But I'm sure the one thing about basketball players is, like, you guys can't hide because when you go out, it's like, all right, a bunch of 6'8".
Who is this tall, massive human?
Even the guys that I play with that played, like, Division I basketball, they're all, like, bankers now. They go out, they're in their early 30s. They can't go out without, like, a group of, I hate to say this, but a group of like younger white girls being like, "Do you guys play in the NBA?" Like it happens all the time. I'm like, I couldn't imagine like just being a banker and having to be like, "No, dude, I'm just
I had a long day crunching numbers. Can you please leave me alone?
I don't know, dude. I
sell software. I've been on the cloud all day.
Yeah, I can imagine that's pretty annoying. Yeah. Okay, this was good.
Yeah.
This is what you do in pickleball. You do it like that. I'm going to leave this here at Black Valve Media, who is the studio we're at. We got to shout out Black Valve really quick before we
Shout out
end.
Black Valve Media. They've been nothing but great to us.
Hunter and Evan, they are just the kings of sick retro stuff.
Yeah, they collect like 70,000 retro TVs.
Yeah.
They have a sick dirt bike track.
Yes.
Out in the back.
A basketball hoop.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, a pickleball.
Yeah, we need
court.
to get a pickleball court set up.
We could do it outside, probably. I would say. And they're also just really good at this stuff. Yeah. They're just really good. So shout out to them. Thanks for tuning in. Anything else that you want to add?
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining. Follow along the bench seat. Godspeed.